The cowboy governor was laid to rest today. Funeral services for Bruce King drew a capacity crowd at the Moriarty High School gymnasium. Family, friends, and fellow local and national politicians came to say goodbye. News 13's Jim Winchester begins our team coverage with a wrap-up of today's funeral and burial.
Former Governor Bruce King was remembered today by those who knew him best. Family and friends who processed in at 10 a.m. were joined by King's friend of 31 years, former President Bill Clinton, who paid tribute.
And I never met anybody like Bruce King, ever.
Like his life, the Ranger from Stanley insisted his funeral be simple and religious. King's family pastor, Dr. Russell Lee, led the service.
He was a person of vision, a person of integrity, and had a caring heart for people and their well-being. He was an example for all of us, that we too make it our aim to live, to love, to learn, and leave a legacy.
But it was the former president who lightened up the otherwise somber atmosphere.
He put his arm around me. The time he got through hugging me, I wanted to check in my back pocket to make sure my billfold was still there.
Former President Clinton called his old friend genuine, caring, and beloved. He said King was there when he lost the Arkansas governor's seat in 1980 and was one of the first people he consulted when he decided to run for president.
Sooner or later, we're going to follow him in death. And now that he beat us to it, there'll be a lot of good laughs on the other side of this life.
King's casket was led out in procession with family, friends, and the flag of the state of New Mexico by his side. He was driven to his burial with full honors as the former governor. He was buried as the beloved cowboy, next to his late wife Alice, in a rural cemetery north of Stanley. Jim Winchester, KRQE News 13.
Today's funeral also included the reading of a tribute letter from former President Jimmy Carter. Those attending included prominent state and local political leaders from both political parties. He was the kind of man you wanted to know, and Bruce King did know many people, taking the time to shake hands and say howdy to many New Mexicans during his lifetime. Today, those same people came out in huge numbers to pay their respects to the late governor. Many shared their stories of Bruce King with News 13's Caitlin McCarthy.
One heck of a crowd for one heck of a guy. About 2,000 people came to Bruce King's funeral to pay their final respects.
The citizens of New Mexico are fortunate to have had Governor King's fine leadership.
It almost seems hard to believe that King knew so many of these people as friends, but he did, and he left a lasting impression.
Well, he was always so enthusiastic. Every time he met you, he remembered names right off the top of his head.
Always happy-go-lucky, just really great man.
Some remember his kind and gentle spirit.
He was always real good with my dad, you know. We would buy hay from him, and he would say, "Hey, Bo, just go get whatever you need." And he never would question, you know. He was just a wonderful person.
Others shared funny stories.
But my husband used to introduce him at banquets, and he had two jokes, one that Bruce hated and one that Bruce loved. The one that Bruce loved was, well, Governor King would have been here tonight, but there was an accident on Cerrillos Road, and he stopped to shake hands with the survivors.
Fellow lawmakers called King a one-of-a-kind public servant.
Even when he wasn't in office, everybody looked to him for guidance. New Mexico has lost a great figure in his passing.
I see it as the end of a political era in the state of gentler politics and consensus politics, where you were a New Mexican first, not a Republican or a Democrat.
Contributed so much to New Mexico, Bruce King, just a wonderful man.
A fitting phrase for the beloved cowboy governor. In Moriarty, Caitlin McCarthy, KRQE News 13.